Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Minister Robbie Battle. We are back in the religious game and we are live. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. It was Sunday, man.
Yes. Do a nice video for the Lord on Sunday there. Just a little basic vid about how I still believe in God. It's been a while since I talked about religion, and I haven't done any religious flip-flops in a long time, Jerry. A good year at least.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
My beliefs in the Lord have been solidified there. It's been a long time, and I figure if I'm gonna stop watching wrestling, I can maybe do a video dedicated to the Lord on every Sunday, maybe, or something like this. Why not? But just to explain my current situation with the good Lord, Jer. Basically, I believe in God, but I don't get too deep into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I see a naked woman on the computer, I'm not going to freak out and start apologizing to Jesus. You know what I'm saying, Jer?
On Twitter, that's a lot.
I just live the life of a normal man, all right? I believe in God, but I'm a Catholic, born and raised Catholic there. I don't mind going to church once in a while to pray to the God, the creator, you know what I mean? But I don't believe that the Bible is actually real because, how can I know? You know what I'm saying? I can get into that a bit later on, but I'm simply going to classify myself as a theist, not an atheist, but a theist. A theist is somebody that believes in God, like an active God. You know what I'm saying? Like I believe in the creator, stuff like this. I believe in God. Like you don't have to be a religious man to believe in God. You don't have to believe in the talking snake in order to believe in God. You know what I'm saying? I believe that I was created or something by a God. I'm not sure. I just, because of personal experience, I believe in a God, but I don't need to believe everything in the Bible. You understand, Jerry?
Yeah.
You have deism. A deist is someone who believes that a God created the earth or did something there and then he just left. You know what I mean? I believe that there is a God, that he's still out there somewhere or something, and he still participates. You know what I'm saying? So that would make me a theist, but I don't believe that God appeared to someone in the burning bush to tell us what we can't and can't do on Sundays. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I believe in God because of personal experience. I've experienced things that make me believe in God. So that's why I believe it. If I tell the atheist, here's everything that happened to me that made me believe in God, they're going to say, oh, well, you're just lying. You're making things up. You're crazy. So they just assume that I'm lying or that I'm crazy. You know what I mean? But really, they can't disprove what I've experienced, and the stuff that I experience makes me believe in God. Do my personal experience make other people believe? Maybe not, but at least I believe, and that's what matters to me. It's not, my belief in God doesn't mean that I have to prove it to atheists. I don't have to prove to atheists what I've experienced. I don't have to prove to them that God exists. As long as I believe it, that's what matters to me, And I don't force myself to believe it. I believe it because of personal experience. And I'm not going to make any knowledge claims. I'm not going to say I know God is real. I've met him. I can't say that I know, but I believe in a God or a higher power. I don't know what his name is. I don't know if there's, what he wants or what he looks like, but I believe in a God, I believe that I know that he exists, but I'm not going to make any knowledge claims. I know for sure this is what he wants. So, I don't have any burden of proof on me. Atheists are going to say, oh, I simply believe that God doesn't exist. I don't claim to know, so I don't have to prove he doesn't exist. Well, it's the same thing for me, motherfucker. Logically, I've never met him, so I can't say, oh yeah, buddy, I know for sure, but I believe in it. You know what I mean?
But you can't. Logically, you can't really show a person who doesn't believe that there's a God. I mean, it's, you can't really show them that.
Well, no, me, it's based off of personal experience, stuff that I've experienced. Makes me believe it. So that's why I believe it. It's not, it's not based, I'm not just making shit up for my own beliefs. You know what I mean? Stuff happens that made me truly believe in God. So that's why I believe it. I can't prove that to an atheist,
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not gonna go on camera and claim that I fully know that the Bible is real, because I don't know who wrote it. I wasn't there. There's religions that were written before and after the Bible. So how can I say, yeah, I know that everything is real? Yeah, I know that, I know for a fact that a donkey can talk like in the Bible. I believe it. Even popes, because of evolution, there's so much evidence of that. Even the popes are saying that the first 9 chapters or something is just allegorical. It's just symbolic.
Jews have admitted that too. The rabbis and stuff, they admitted a lot of stuff in Genesis is more symbolic. It's not literal, like a lot of stuff in the beginning of Genesis.
Exactly. So if stuff like that, even popes don't fully believe in the book, what am I supposed to say? Oh, it's all real. I know it is. You know what I mean? The archaeological evidence isn't there to support all the big stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how am I supposed to say, yeah, I know it's true? You know what I mean? But I do believe in God, though. I think that I've experienced stuff that makes me believe in at least, something more, something that guides me and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying Jesus Christ isn't real. At least Jesus, at the very least, he changed the world and made it better living conditions. Some of the stuff he says, it's not safe to do, like abandon your home and your family and just live for him. That's stuff like that isn't good there, but some of it was, but like I believe in God. I think personally that I believe in, you know, but I'm not going to sit there and start saying that, you know, all slavery in the Bible is good and stuff like that. I'm not going to try to defend that kind of shit.
Yeah, I think when we were talking about Jesus, in those situations, it's where your family is denying what you believe, or they're basically going against what you believe. I think that's what he meant by that. Like, 'cause back then there were so many different. Well, there still are. I mean, there's rival religions and stuff, right? So,
So
thinking that's what he's
go
referring
ahead.
to. I think that's what Jesus is referring to. Like, it's if your family chooses to not, to over you walking with Jesus, basically.
If your
I'm not saying
family
you do
disagrees with me, fuck them. Basically.
that. I mean,
But you Robbie, it's you got like a Christian Jewish merged thing
yeah,
going on. What's
yeah.
that
It's
about? What's
considered.
your
I call myself Macy on it now because it's a lot easier than having to go and describe each single belief. But Macy on it is like if you follow Hebrew roots and Messianic Jews, pretty similar to what they believe. Like I believe in Yeshua, I believe in God, which we call Yahweh.
and
I,
Yeshua? That's Jesus. What's the deal with
yeah,
the Yeshua thing?
Yeshua, that's his original Hebrew name. There was no letter J's until like the mid 16th century. So even if like you look at like the original King James Bible, there's no letter J in it. Like Jesus was referred to as Isus in the first Bible. I mean, there's no letter J. So we use the Hebrew names for the Creator and for the Messiah. Also, I think the Sabbath is on Saturday. I mean, I don't really argue people over it, but it's just we kind of do like the first followers of Jesus. Most of the first like your first believers of Jesus were somewhat Jewish, So it's kind of like a mixture of I guess if you want to look at it, is a mixture of like Messianic beliefs and Judaism, basically. So, but that's what I believe, and I don't necessarily think that Yeshua came from a virgin birth. I think that the seed was blessed. I think that what they mean is that Joseph's seed was blessed. I don't think that it was like a virgin birth. I've never seen a woman have a baby without having sex. So I kind of think that's something that's added in. Go ahead,
And like me, I figure, you know, like not to like put down Jesus, but I think Jesus is like a middleman. Like, let's say I want to pray to God there. If there really is a creator that can hear me, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
As long as I pray to the creator or whatever, he should know what I mean. I
Yeah,
don't need to wear a special hat or to
yeah,
go to church at a specific day or to fucking not eat pork or to not eat whatever the fuck
yeah.
or to wear a kind
That's
of
yeah,
t-shirt with different fabric. I
yeah.
figured the God should simply understand who I'm
A lot.
referring to, and like
Yeah,
Jesus, if people, oh, the Holy Trinity, it's all the same person. So if I pray
yeah.
just to God and he's the same guy, then technically I'd be praying to
Well,
Jesus at the same time if it's the same three people or whatever.
I think that Yeshua and your Yahweh are definitely two different deities, but I think that they work on the same accord. Like Yeshua is kind of like his judge. Like I believe that when you die, like there's going to be, if you read the Bible, it's going to be a big judgment. I think that we're judged by Yeshua because he's a righteous judge. He was the only sinless human being to ever exist on the planet, So that's kind of how I think. Like I don't think that you have to pray through anything to get to Yahweh. I think Yeshua is just there for our salvation. We have to accept Him to get forgiveness.
Because
But as
like
far as praying, you should be able to talk to Yahweh like you talk to your mom or dad.
the
If you
Jews in the Old Testament, they prayed directly to God. You know
yeah,
what I
that's what I
mean?
believe.
So
Yep.
How
Yep,
come
that's what
I
I.
have to pray to a different guy? Me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, no. The only thing Yeshua was is just he was the way to give us salvation because the Jews, if you read the Bible, the Jews had already been cursed for not keeping the Torah, and that was kind of like a way to redeem humanity before God destroyed the earth. Because I have a feeling that if it wasn't for Yeshua, I mean, me and you may not be here typing on the keyboard talking, but that's just my belief.
Jerry, so you're a Protestant, is that it? Oh, Jerry's not there. There, you can, when he comes back, he can tell us about his faith there. Me, I heard he was a Protestant, but I'm not sure. But me, that's pretty much, I believe in the God. I've experienced stuff that makes me
Yeah.
believe in God. You know what I mean? And that's
My thing
about
is,
it.
when I had my issues with my beliefs here months ago, I found whenever I got back with God or if I was peaceful, I felt more at peace and I was happy. It was like an unexplainable happiness and at peace. So to me, that let
I've,
alone worth the belief.
I've experienced that too when I would walk away from God and just claim to be atheist or whatever. Like I tried to be an atheist, you know what I mean? That's because of reading the Bible. I thought, there's no way that God can be real if he does this and that, but God doesn't have to be about the Bible, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's something that, just because a priest molests a kid, that's the religion's fault. It doesn't mean God isn't real.
yeah,
If the Bible says shit that's scientifically incorrect, that's men that wrote that shit. It
yeah.
doesn't mean that
Yeah,
there isn't a creator, you know?
God never wrote anything, so unfortunately, we have to kind of rely on stuff that's written by man. However way we go, even if we were to go to atheist road, we're still relying on literature that's written by man, right? Because
Yeah, I'm gonna go with what I think, you know what I mean?
yeah, at the end of the day, it's going to be what you decide is real. I just know for me personally, I do believe in Yahweh or God and Jesus, and I get peace from it. I've tried living without them, and I just was miserable and unhappy. So for me, it works out better. There's some atheists on here like Brandon Law that claim they don't need it, and more power to them. But me personally, it helps me get through a lot of stuff. So
Like, I figure, just pray to the main guy should be good enough. You know what I mean? I don't have to listen to an old guy at the church tell me how to live my life. I don't have to, have like fucking old people from thousands of years ago dictate which kind of sex I'm allowed to do. Not that I want to have gay sex, but like I mean, if I want to jack off, motherfucker, I'm a jack off. You know what I'm saying? I don't need permission from a guy with a big long beard from fucking
I really,
13 million years ago to tell me what to do,
I think, like I say, and I do believe in the Bible and the scriptures, but I think a lot of that stuff is more cultural because at that time they were trying to build up their race. They're trying to build up people. That's why they believed in being fruitful, multiplying their race basically to get more believers on the planet. So I don't think it's so much that the act of masturbation is such a bad thing. It's just God was wanting you to use what he gave you to try to multiply his believers. That way you weren't overtaken by non-believers. It was more of that. I don't think it was so much like if you masturbate, you're going to go to hell. Or, I mean, if that's the case, goodness, we're all going to be in trouble. I mean, pretty much all men are going to be in trouble because, I mean, it's an uncontrollable thing sometimes. So, I mean, I'm like you there. There's certain things in it, even though I believe in it, I think it's more of a cultural thing at the time. I think that if the Bible was rewritten, it would probably be a lot different. you know. So that's just me, you know.
Like, I'm gonna refrain from doing behavior that I think is bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't go out and, oh, the Bible says not to kill, but fuck the Bible, I'm gonna kill people
Yeah.
anyway. You know, I wouldn't start to go out and do stuff like this. But like, oh, the Bible says you can't have multi-fabric shirts, you
Mm-hmm.
know, or
But
else that means you're showing off. Like, for example, you're born and into the society and your parents give you clothes. You know what I mean?
yeah, think
It's
about
not,
it, WJ. Like, if you think about the Ten Commandments, right, as opposed to the commandments in the Torah, which are like over 600. But if you take those 10 to me are the main ones. I think that's God's way of saying, you know, hey, these other rules are for cultural things and customs, but these 10 rules, you know, you got to keep these 10 rules. And that's kind of how I believe. Like, I think those 10 commandments are the most important ones. You know, thou shalt not kill. I mean, a lot of them are just common sense. You know, like if you look at the 10 commandments, even atheists will say most of them make sense. You know, I mean, that's kind of how I look at it. You know, um, I don't think anybody's hell bound ever. I'm not one of these people that thinks just because you don't believe in God that you don't have a chance, because you may very well change one day. You may have something happen to you. Or you may, who knows? Maybe when you die, maybe you're given a second chance. I don't know, right? So
that's
go ahead,
more that's more of a religious thing.
Yeah.
Hell is a religious concept, that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that the God really wants to kill people and send them to hell, and that he told people to kill children in the Bible. You know what I mean? Those are religious books written by men, you know, like me. Like, I've had like the kind of stuff people would just say it's coincidence, a lot of it, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? But sometimes it feels like something is guiding me, you know what
Oh
I
yeah.
mean? It feels more than just a coincidence. You know, that doesn't prove that there's a God, but it's stuff that makes me believe the way things happen and stuff like that. I've even had like a paranormal experience. You know, there's no point of trying to explain that, because atheists will just say it's fake, or they'll make a false assumption about my experience. But when I was trying to find answers, you know, about God, I was looking for proof, and I had a paranormal experience or something supernatural, I think, you know. So that makes me believe in God, you know what I mean? But I can't prove that to Jerry, you know what I mean?
No,
Like, I
you
can't
can't. I
say,
mean,
hey, Jerry, I've experienced something, so you have to believe in it. No, it's me that believes in it, and you know, that's, you know, I'm not a priest that has to go out and prove that God exists, or I'm not, you know, that's not my job to go out and try to convince people to believe. You know, I'm not a priest. I'm not a fucking, you know, one of the apostles. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's just me. I believe it, so that's it. You know, I'm not
I
going to
think.
try to, huh?
I mean, I do think that people are supposed to spread it, but I think at this time and juncture, the way the world is, you're best off to kind of keep your beliefs to yourself,
Well,
because most of the time
that's
people are
that's
just
why you
messing
got
mad.
priests, you got
Yeah.
preachers, and you have just normal people at the church. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If everybody was a priest, then, you know.
I feel like this. I feel like there's enough Bibles out there to where there's no excuse for somebody not to know God. And in essence, like I don't think in this country. Now I can't say everywhere. There are some countries where you don't have Bibles, but in this country or U.S. or Canada, I mean, there's a Bible in every hotel room just about. So I mean, it's not like you really have to And in this country, when you do it, people feel like you're invading their privacy. So
Like
I kind of look at it like that. I'm
I'm
not going to
not
say nothing about my beliefs unless you come and ask me directly, you know?
I'm not saying it's wrong to preach about God or anything like that,
Yeah.
but like me, I don't have to try to fucking
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go out and try to fucking transform atheists into God believers. You know what I mean? Like
It won't work.
I've had my experiences that makes me believe, so that's why I believe. So Jerry, from what I understand, you're a Protestant. So tell me
No,
about your view.
I'm a Catholic. I'm frost. uh, I was brought up as a Catholic as well. It was very heavily exercised when I went to school. So from primary school, whenever you were trying to you did what is known as Holy Communion. They don't do it now apparently, but back when I was in school, they would like heavily focus on learning prayers, learning hymns. If you didn't learn it, you didn't get it. So essentially, it put a lot of pressure on children to essentially, learn all the hymns and stuff like that. And some of the teachers would even go bananas if people forgot to learn these hymns. You have to bear in mind, when I was a kid, we had to do the 11 plus, learn all this, plus on top of that, learning fucking hymns and stuff. And I feel as if on that system, and I'm not like religious heavy, but I feel as if there should have been maybe more of a human side to religion. And I think that was the issue for me. And then when I was in secondary school, it was very religious, not as much as primary school, but it was heavily religious focused. They would try and do prayers like at the start of the school, and then because of this whole eventually people started, the religion didn't have a key in schools as much, and there was changes and stuff. And what they actually did was, I don't know if anyone's aware of this, but when I was doing GCSE religion, essentially in order to pass a religious qualification, you actually had to learn both sides of the argument. So essentially, I'm only giving an example, but for pro-abortion and anti-abortion, you would actually have to argue both cases, and essentially it's more like not the actual religious sense or the religious teachings or actually progressing as essentially learning the Bible fully, but it was more of learning both sides of the argument and actually putting yourself in the shoes of the other skill of the argument, which I thought was okay. And then when I was in Crumlin, there was this born again Christian place. I don't know what the term is there, Baptist Christian or born again Christian. I don't even know what the real term is in America.
Born again is it's when you're saved, when you weren't a Christian before.
Yeah. So what they would do is essentially I would play out in the street. So I was around about I think it was 12 or something, approaching 13 at that point. And these religious people, they would come round, and what they would say is, which I don't particularly agree with, but back then it was they said, we have sweets here, we have chocolate, we have football here, just come down, you'll have a great time, blah blah blah. And the thing is, with Crumlin, there wasn't much going on for children at that point because the centre was a lot to be desired. So the only place that you could really go to was these religious things, and essentially what they would do is then they would bring in this kind of born again thing, and then they would teach you stuff at the start. So about an hour whenever you go in, you would go, it's on a Friday night, and it would start at around about 6 o'clock. So for an hour they would teach you their side of the argument, and it was kind of weird because being a kid back then, I was always taught the Catholic side of it, and they were saying it was something completely different, and I got very confused, and stuff like that. And eventually, like, obviously I didn't go to it anymore and stuff like that. Although I respect the people there, you know, I don't want to bash anyone's religion or anything like that. But it was almost like a kind of a trying to convert people kind of deal. And I feel as if years after that, I felt that with the combination of primary school, secondary school, that born again Christian thing, as well as like other religious studies, I felt that it was too much. So it was too much packed into my brain. And essentially, I felt that it was fucking overload, essentially, if that makes sense. And that's kind of my experience with it anyway, you know?
So, Jerry, when it comes to God, do you believe in God or not?
It's hard to say. I believe that there might be some being out there, but it's not in like in a sense where man, like, it's not in a man's image, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's just like a religious thing that the God looks like man, you know, that's because man wrote it, so there's a bias there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel as if like different religions now, they have almost, it's the one, there's like a true goal to it, but these different religions haven't kind of fathomed what exactly it is, kind of deal.
So do you believe in something like a being or like something natural or what?
Maybe a bit of the, I believe that there could be something out there, but the thing that I don't essentially like, what sways me with it is that, yes, like, people kind of look at it as a planet Earth angle. You have to look at it as like a galaxy angle, because there's different.
You believe that there could be something, but you're not sure, kind of deal.
Basically, yeah.
So that's like an agnostic position.
Yeah.
You're not sure, basically, there.
Yeah.
Like atheists are going to try to force agnostics to their side, you know what I mean? But like, you don't believe that he doesn't exist, you just don't know if he does or not, kind of deal.
Yeah, having a Henry flu, basically, that's like essentially what it is, really.
Oh, it's like agnostic atheism, I guess, there, but more on the agnostic side,
Yeah.
But yeah, me, that's pretty much it. I believe in God because of personal experience, and that's what makes me believe, motherfuckers. I'm not gonna claim to know he exists. I don't claim to know that you know, snakes can talk in the Bible, so it's not my my burden to start proving that. You know what I mean? And when they say, like, if somebody believes the Bible and they say it's your claim, you gotta prove it's true. Basically, you're just believing in the Bible, right, Robbie? It's not you that wrote it. It's not really you that's making the claim. You just believe a claim. You didn't.
And
really
I don't even know.
it.
I'm fully open to the realization that a lot of stuff that I believe in may not be what it was at one time. I mean, look how long the Bible's been together, and it was all in different like parts. It wasn't like one big book at one time. So I'm pretty sure the stuff that I believe, there's probably errors in it. You know, and I feel like in the end we'll be shown the truth. That's what I think when Jesus comes back or Yeshua comes back, we'll all be taught what was right, you know. So that's the way I believe. I'm open to, you know, I don't claim that there isn't any errors in the Bible. I'm pretty sure there are.
But like, I mean, it's when atheists say the burden of proof lies on you, you're making the claim. Really, it's not you making the claim. You're just believing it, kind of deal. Like,
I'm not ultimately saying that there is. You know.
If I make a claim that there's a dragon outside, and you believe me, you know, I'm the one making the claim, not
Mm.
you understand?
Yeah.
Like the Bible makes the claim, you just believe it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not your job to fucking prove everything in the Bible just because you believe it. You know what I mean? If anybody has the claim, it's like the Bible itself and the church, they would have to prove it,
Well,
not you. You know.
who? I mean, really. I mean, I always ask this to people because I got friends who are atheists, but I mean, not everything in life is about logic. So, I mean, yeah, I understand you want to be logical and practical, but I mean, hell, is there, if you're logical about everything and there's no kind of moral compass to anything, what, you know, what, that kind of like, how would you know what love is? Or, you know, there's things like that to me that just don't get answered by like humanism, you know, like, it fails to answer a lot of those questions. And I guess that's why I always believe in God, you know. That's kind of why I've always hold on to it. Even when I struggle in the back of my mind, I still believe, you know. So that's for me, you know, that's how I kind of look at it.
And Jerry,
Yeah.
so you don't go to church or anything like that, yeah?
No, I used to, but I just feel as if going to church is essentially a big waste of time, really. Because like I said, because I don't practice this or whatever like that, but like in my opinion, if you believe in God, right, shouldn't it be personal rather than being in an area surrounded by a lot of people? You know what I mean?
That's
Um,
that's what atheists do. As soon as you say you believe in God or something, they act like if they're the police and
yeah.
you're under arrest and you're forced to fucking, you know, to let yourself be interrogated. Well, where's your proof? How do you justify your belief? Who the fuck are you, motherfucker? You know what I mean? You're just some punk ass schmuck on the internet who thinks he's cool because he calls himself an atheist. You know, I have no reason to bow down and start justifying my belief to a schmuck on the computer, you know?
Who's this?
Well, just atheists in general.
All right.
You
That's
don't
a
have
Bono.
you don't have to fucking bow down and try to justify your beliefs to them. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, talking about what Jerry just said, but I know that lead singer from YouTube, that Bono, he's a Christian, and he said that he feels closer to God on top of a mountain than any church. So, I mean, I think, you know, that does speak volumes. I mean, there's a lot of Christians who don't even go to church now because there's so much corruption in churches.
There he is.
So, I mean, I think,
Especially with the Catholic Church as well. That's what kind of put me off it a little bit.
it's unfortunately it's a lot of corruption, not only in Catholic churches but in our Christian churches. It's pretty bad too. So it's I think that's just mankind. Unfortunately, we're not perfect beings. You know.
My main issue with the Catholic Church really is obviously that whole fucking priest scandal that actually originally put me off going there. Another one is that why in God's green earth, like as far as I was concerned, like everyone was equal in the Catholic Church. Why can nuns not say mass?
Yeah,
That's
it's that old school.
why can priests not get married? You know,
Well, you
it's
see, Jerry, because a woman told Adam to eat an apple there in the book. Even the popes are saying that the beginning of the story isn't real anymore and that it's evolution. But because a woman ate an apple there in the story, she made the guy eat an apple, then that means the men are in charge of women and stuff like this. You know, right there you can see that it's written by a man because it's sexism, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's bias towards the male race or whatever the fuck, the male sex or whatever. Like, why would the God think like that? You know what I mean? Why would the God want it to be that way? No, women stink. Women got cooties. Men in charge.
Nah.
You know? Why would it be like that? Why would the God let one sex dominate the other like that? It doesn't make sense, you know? Stuff like that, I don't believe in the Bible, and you know, but I don't think that a God has to depend on stuff like this, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I relate to a lot of stuff that people get stumped on in the Bible now. I just pretty much write it off as cultural things that has to do with the Hebrews at that time. I firmly believe that if for some reason God came to a group of men and told them, you know, hey, I want you to rewrite the Bible, then I'm pretty sure that we would have a lot different like commandments or amended commandments, because I mean, change, right? I mean, it's not like it was, you know, 5,000 years ago or whatever. It's society's a lot different. So I don't think a lot of those things are strictly governing anymore. I think they were at one time when there was a Jewish government, but there's really no such thing as a Jewish government anymore. So I mean, a lot of that stuff is more cultural to me, you know.
So that's about it, folks.
Yeah.
So that's it for me. I believe in God, and yeah, I believe it because I believe it, not because I have to, you know, convince myself of anything, and I'm not trying to force myself to believe something. Personal experience, dog. I believe it for that, and I'm not going to try to like justify my beliefs to atheists. As long as I believe it, that's what matters to me. Jerry, any final words about Protestants there?
I mean, I get along with both Catholic and Protestant. I love them.
Or any final words in general about God and your beliefs or whatever the fuck? Any last words there?
I think the key to religion is the object of belief, but not essentially shoving it down the throats of other people. I think that is the kind of object of religion itself. The moment you shove your religious views down other people's throats is the moment when you're going against that whole Bible. Whatever, like I said, I'm very impartial to it. I kind of sit on the fence a little bit, sit on the half fence, WJ. but like you can't, and the same applies to atheists as well. Just because someone believes in something, you can't say, "Well, fuck you, man." You can't do that either. You can't do that either. At the end of the day, our own personal experiences is what drives us in life. It's our life. We got one life. We can do whatever we want with it. WJ.
Robbie.
What's that term the hipsters are using? YOLO or how's it go? You only live once. There we go. You can use that as your your religion, I guess, or I forget what it stands for. But yeah, man, I pretty much I've said what I believe. You know, I do believe in the Bible. I do think parts of it have errors in it, and I don't think we'll ever know really until we die what really is 100% true in it. You know, I think there's the underlying themes of good and evil that I think you can see in society, and anybody can sense what's good and what's evil. You don't really have to be religious to sense it. And that's kind of what I believe, man. So that's pretty much all I guess I could say in this video. It's been fun doing the religious video with you, WJ.
That's right. Every Sunday, motherfucker, a religious video. And for those that are going to freak out, oh, I want wrestling, fucking religion back. It's, you know, I'm still going to give y'all some wrestling talk as long as I can. It's
Tell
like
him the Prozac is in the medicine cabinet, too.
it's like a mental addiction, wrestling. So, if I walk away from it now and I don't talk about it and shit, I'm going to freak out and I'm going to end up in church and they're going to have to perform an exorcism on me. Right? So I'll still give some wrestling talk there, but going to start talking about other stuff as well. I'm not going to shove the religion down your throat and like it's not even going to be religious on my end. I just believe in God now, a God that's active, but it's not a thing that you're going to burn in hell if you don't believe what I say and shit like this. And I'm not going to make 12 religious vids a week there, maybe on Sundays type deal. The day of the Lord, or so they say, Robbie.
Oh, yeah. Blessed be his name.
You say it's on Saturday, the real Sabbath.
Yeah, that's the original, like the Jews and the first believers of Yeshua. They kept it on Saturday because that's when the Jewish calendar is different than ours, and their first day of the week falls on that Sunday. Actually, our second day of the week falls on the last day of the week falls on the Saturday. The first day of the week falls on the Sunday. So, I mean, technicality, I don't think you're going to go to hell for celebrating the Sabbath on the wrong day, but that's just how the original believers did it. So
there you have it. Hopefully you've learned something from the minister Robbie Battle there about the Sabbath. But,
praise the Lord.
You can research all this stuff when you're on a cord too. I always tell people look it up. There's plenty of good stuff on the internet. They'll teach you.
For people that get upset, it's fun, this religious stuff. It's fun to talk about it and all this weird good shit. But yeah, until next week there, praise the Lord.
Man.
Until next time.